Good morning, students. As yesterday we have started our chapter Major Domains of the Earth. In that, we are discussing about the part lithosphere. As I explained you yesterday, in lithosphere, all 7 continents of the world are included. We have also discussed about Asia and Africa continent. Now today we will continue further. And we will begin with first North America. See, North America, it is the third largest continent. It is the third largest continent and it lies wholly in the northern hemisphere. Completely it belongs to the northern hemisphere and it is situated between 7 degrees north to 83 degrees north latitudes and 53 degree west to 180 degree west longitudes. Okay, North America is cold in the north and warm in the south. North America is colder in the north part and warmer in the southern part. Now, it is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. This continent, North America, is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean in the west, Arctic Ocean in the north, and the Atlantic Ocean in the east. This particular continent, this North America, it is also linked to South America. How it is linked? It is linked through the Isthmus of Panama in the south. Now it has an area of about 24,709,000 square kilometers. Now its north-south extent is 7,650 kilometers and the east-west extent is about 4,800 kilometers. Though it's very difficult to learn, but you should be knowing it. Now, North America has 23 countries. How many countries are there? There are 23 countries in North America. Two of its countries, that is Canada and the USA, are also known as Anglo-America. They form 75% of the total area of North America. According to geologists, Canada is one of the oldest regions in the world. Oldest region in the world, Canada. Now, some of North America's famous cities are Mexico City, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Toronto, and Washington, D.C. These are the few cities popular in North America. The northern region of North America remains snow-covered nearly throughout the year. The complete year, all 12 months, it is almost covered with snow. There are large, extensive plains of tall grass between the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachians known as prairies. Now, these are very suitable for growing crops, rearing cattle for meat, milk, and other animal products. See, these are the means this area is good for cultivation, agriculture, even for animals. Okay. Here, something important for us to know is America is named after Amerigo Vespucci, who explored North America between 1499 and 1502. America was inhabited by a race of people who are known as Aztecs or Red Indians. They created the Mayan civilization and the Aztec Empire, as it was unknown to the Europeans before its discovery. So they started calling it the New World. It was also known as the New World. Knowing more about North America, see there are four Great Lakes between Canada and the USA. St. Lawrence, Mississippi, and Missouri are the important rivers of North America. The Colorado River, while flowing through soft rocks, cut them out to form the Grand Canyon. The five Great Lakes and the river St. Lawrence together form the greatest inland waterway in the world. My God, it's big, right? The King of Fire is the volcanic mountain range that is along the basin of the Pacific Ocean. The group of the Caribbean islands of Gulf of Mexico are known as West Indies. North America has a large variety of natural resources. Many parts of North America are rich in minerals like iron, nickel, zinc, copper, gold, lead, and uranium. This is about North America. Moving further, South America. Now, South America is a warm continent. As compared to North America, it is warmer. Now, it is the fourth largest continent. It lies between 13 degrees north and 55 degrees south latitudes and between 35 degrees west to 81 degrees west longitude. It has an area of about 17,840,000 kilometers square with the east-west extent of about 4,800 kilometers and the north-south extent of about 7,650 kilometers. It lies mostly in the southern hemisphere, while a small portion of it lies in the northern hemisphere. It is surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean in the east, Pacific Ocean in the west, and Caribbean Sea in the north. There are 12 independent countries in South America. 12 countries. In North America, there are more, 23, but in South America, there are 12. The Andes is the longest continental mountain range in the world. Now, it is about 7,000 kilometers long and about 200 kilometers wide. It extends from north to south through 7 South American countries. Great. From it extends through 7 countries. Now, Mount Aconcagua is the highest peak of the Andes mountain range. Now, about half of South America is occupied by the lowlands. It is drained by the 3 river systems, that is the Orinoco, the Amazon, and the La Plata. The river basin of Orinoco is called Llanos. The river basin of Amazon is called as Selvas, and the river basin of La Plata is called Gran Chaco. Now, Amazon basin has the thickest forests of the world. You know it very well. Amazon is the largest river of the world by volume. Volume means by width It is the largest river in the world. बहुत ही चौड़ाई में सबसे ज़्यादा है Amazon river. Now minerals like gold, silver, copper, iron, tin and petroleum are found in South America. Many rare animals like llama, jaguar and alpacas are also found here. Okay, this is about South America. Moving forward is Antarctica. Now, Antarctica is the coldest continent we know. It is the coldest continent. It is the fifth largest continent with an area of 13,600,000 kilometers square approximately. Okay. In Antarctica, very less people are able to live as it is the coldest continent. But some scientists visit to study the weather of animals there. Many kinds of penguins live in Antarctica. Penguins are found there, but for human beings, because it's very cold, it's difficult to survive. Just because it is very cold, always covered with snow, it is also known as the white continent. It is the Earth's southernmost continent containing the South Pole. This continent also covers the South Pole. It is situated in the Antarctic region of the southern hemisphere, surrounded by the Southern Ocean. It is very cold in Antarctica with minimum temperature of minus 93.2 degrees Celsius. Just imagine, we cannot even stay there for a minute. How cold it is. Minus 93.2 degrees Celsius. It was discovered in the year 1820 and later in the 19th century, people from many countries visited Antarctica. There is no permanent human population or trees in Antarctica. Seals and penguins are found there. We are able to see seals and penguins as they live only on snow and ice. Scientists are worried that due to pollution, the large ice sheets and glaciers of Antarctica will melt down. This will increase the sea level, which will drown many cities. Yes, it happens. It is happening even that the huge ice bodies are melting because of the heat and pollution, and which is bringing up the rise in the seawater. In 1959, many countries of the world signed the Antarctic Treaty, and according to that, no country can exploit the natural resources of Antarctica. No country is going to exploit or use the natural resources of Antarctica. They agreed to use it only for peaceful purposes, for example, to study climatic changes. Okay, and just because of this, it is also known as the continent of science, because there in that continent only the scientists are going to study. Now, India is a member of this treaty. India has established two stations named Maitri and Gangotri in Antarctica. Antarctica has many mountain ranges and vast plateau regions. The highest peak is the Vinson Massif, which is 4,892 meters high. Mount Erebus is the world's southernmost active volcano. Now, India is planning to build an additional research center, namely Bharati. After this, India will join the elite group of 9 countries which have multiple bases in Antarctica. Moving on, next is the continent Europe. As per size, now Europe is the sixth largest continent of the earth. It lies between 36 degrees north to 72 degrees north latitudes and 10 degrees west to 60 degrees east longitudes. It has an area of about 180,000 kilometers square. The southern part of Europe is mostly mountainous, while the northern area has vast lowlands known as the Great European Plains. Alps, Pyrenees, and Carpathians are the high mountain ranges of Europe. It has a temperature climate which is neither too hot nor too cold. It is fine, not very hot, not very cold. Now, Europe is the most populous continent after Asia and Africa. Means the highest populous continent remains Asia, where we Indians belong. After that is Asia, after that Africa, and then is Europe. It contains 11% of the world's total population. Though it's the third densely populated continent, but still it contains only the 11% of the total world population. Most Europeans follow Christianity, and Europe is surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean in the west, Mediterranean Sea in the south, and Arctic Ocean in the north. The Ural Mountains, the Caspian Sea, and the Caucasus Mountains form the eastern boundary of Europe, separating it from Asia. Europe is separated from Africa by the Strait of Gibraltar. Europe is a prosperous and populous continent. Populous, as I told, it's the third continent densely populated, third ranked. It is comprised of 50 countries. Some of them, like Greece, have played an important role in the world history. Alexander the Great was a Greek. Russia is the largest country of Europe, which has most of its area in the continent of Asia. Coming next is Australia. Now, Australia is the sixth largest country and the smallest continent in the world. It is an island continent and smallest continent in the world. It is located in the southern hemisphere. It is also called Oceania. Why? Because it is surrounded by seas and oceans on all sides. It's a country, a big size country, considered as one continent, which is surrounded by sea and oceans from everywhere. So it is named as Oceania. Okay, it is also known as island continent. And Australia, together with New Zealand and other nearby islands, is called Australasia. Australia lies between 10 degrees south to 44 degrees south latitude and 112 degree east to 154 degree east longitudes. There are a few low and isolated ranges in Australia, and most of its area is made up of plateaus. The main physical features of Australia are the Great Dividing Range, the central lowland, the western desert. Now, the famous Great Barrier Reef, which is made up of corals, that is a sea animal, is found along the northeastern coast of Australia. Its neighboring countries are Indonesia, East Timor, Papua New Guinea in the north, the Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Vanuatu and New Caledonia in the northeast, and New Zealand in the southeast. Names are very different, very new. While reading, you can get the spellings. Now, Australia is home to many unique animals and birds like kangaroo, platypus, cassowary, etc. Australia was discovered by a Dutchman named Abel Tasman in 1642, and later on it was occupied by the Europeans. The original inhabitants of Australia are known as Aborigines. They still use boomerang to hunt animals and birds. This was all about all the 7 continents of world. In our next chapter, next period, we will continue with the topic hydrosphere. That's all for today. Thank you, kids.